7 minutes for discussion. Yes, please.
Thank you for the question about the balance feelings and how far we get from it. You said that here we want to get into the zombie-like state, and I was wondering about the city, the definition is different than zombies.
Yeah. So, a very simple way of answering that question is saying that seeking works in the same way, except that the red arrow goes this way and the blue arrow goes that way. But another way of answering the question, if you think about it in the computational neuroscience terms that I've been using, there's all this whole terminology. One of their technical terms is uncertainty. Uncertainty in information science is entropy. Okay? So average information so a clock ticking gives you no information because it's absolutely predictable. Every second it's going to do that. There's only information when you don't know what it's going to do. And so that's information is deviation from what's predicted. It's the same as entropy. It's uncertainty is entropy. Uncertainty for biological organisms is a very bad thing. I hope you can see why. This is why we aspire to certainty. We aspire to predictability. We aspire to zombiedom, funny as it sounds. So the way the seeking system works is it is attracted to uncertainty. And can you see why this is a good thing? So because the environment, there's constant surprises, you don't want to find them when they bite you in the arse. It's too late then. So the way that the seeking mechanism works is it is positively attracted to uncertainty. What does it want to do with that uncertainty? It wants to reduce it. So you think of a dog in an open field, you put the dog down, it doesn't just sit there, okay? What it does is it's interested. Wow, what? And it's most interested by things it's never seen before. So it's curiosity, expectancy, risk-taking even, because it is risky. But it's less risky than knowing nothing about the world and waiting for the bus to hit you. So exploring the world, finding out, and the thing, that bush, I've never been there before. Wow, let me dive into it and see what's there. Tomorrow, I know about that bush. Okay, that's how seeking works. So it's a proactive reduction of certainty, which paradoxically, it's seeking uncertainty, but what it's wanting to do is to resolve the uncertainty. That's how the seeking system works. And it's the default option. It's the kind of, if you're hungry, what you want to do is eat. If you're thirsty, what you want to do is drink. If you're none of those things, what you want to do is cruise. Check out the scene. This is what we do. And very interestingly, the seeking system is active even when you're asleep. The ventral tegmental dopaminergic neurons fire at the same rate whether you're awake or asleep. So when you're asleep, you're foraging inside the memories of what happened during the day and doing this whole consolidation business of deciding what matters and what's novel and how do you resolve this prediction error and all of that. So seeking is in that sense also the default option. You don't just wait for the bus to hit you, you're constantly foraging to reduce uncertainty, to minimize prediction error, to have the best predictive model that you can as to how to deal with the world and all of its troubles. Yes, please. Yes. Well, narcissism is not a basic emotion. Narcissism is... Yes. I think the emotion you're talking about is a little bit more like greed, which is even that is not a basic emotion. So I'll link that to what is a basic affect, which is hunger. And it links a little bit with seeking, with what I've just said about seeking. But in fact, I've gone in the most simplistic terms into the brainstem regulation of these core body needs and the homeostatic functions that each one of them has all of its own complexities. And hunger is what eating behavior is not something that's tied immediately to energy needs. It's something which has a much longer time scale. Eating, we eat and store up for the bad times to come. So the basic mechanism is you don't wait until your energy supplies are getting depleted. You're constantly eating. So this kind of, and you see it in most animals. You look at them, what they're doing all the time basically is eating. That's what when you can get hold of anything to build up your energy supplies, you're doing it. And so greed in the very simple sense of the word, and you can't reduce something complex to something simple. It is something complex, but many simple things contribute to it. But if I have to try and reduce it to one thing, I would say that's the kind of mechanism that we need to look for. Is that there are basic predictive mechanisms which work on the average and in the long term, and those things can go awry if all the other complexities that are meant to regulate them don't work. So we have an innate sense of greed in relation, for example, to hunger. You can relate it also to the basic mechanism of play. Every child wants things to only go their way. They want to be the one who tells everyone else what to do. They want to initially to do that. And the function of play is in order to teach us that it can't be like that. You have to take account of the others, otherwise they won't play with you. And so we have all these things need to be taken in conjunction with each other in order to understand all the complexities of mental life. But because I can see we're ending, I need to end my answer to your question with this statement. Despite all of that complexity, what I'm saying is it is possible to ultimately reduce these things to basic instinctual emotions, and ultimately to reduce them all to basic biology, and ultimately reduce that to basic mechanisms. And this is what the Helmholtz and Brücke and Dubois-Reymond and Ludwig and all of them were aiming for, and this is what Freud was aiming for. And I think that within our lifetimes, it actually does look to me as if this is a plausible aspiration for the life of the mind. The mind, after all, is just part of nature. Thank you very much.